If you are still using that piece of equipment in your garden, you need to stop. You need to stop the addiction, because tillers, hoses with sprinklers, and elaborate underground water systems are a thing of a past. Garden that is very, very conventional. In fact, they only tilled half of it, and you can see, look at what it looks like. It may look like your garden before you till it. Isn't that awful? That's what it looks like. But if you start implementing the back to Eden garden method, there's going to be none of that anymore. There's going to be none of that anymore. There's going to be no more hoses. There's going to be none of that anymore. And here is my proof is in the pudding walk, because I'm going to show you how you can get started on an existing garden with the back to Eden garden method. Yes, an existing garden. This is a beautiful garden. Every year they have produce, but every year they do a lot of labor intensive work, and they don't have to. And what did I score? Wood chips. I scored wood chips, and these are the best type of wood chips to apply to your existing garden. Why? Because they've been aged for over a year. Now, if you find fresh wood chips and they haven't been aged, you cannot apply them to your existing garden. But if you find chips that have already been decomposed, you can see the two different piles here. They're both been decomposed for about a year, but on the bottom of the pile, that's what it looks like. Now, you can see the difference, even though this is the same pile and it's aged over a year. The bottom of the pile, look at how it has composted even further than a little bit higher on the pile. See the difference? But it's both been aged for about a year. And now what you want to do is take those aged wood chips and you're going to start your layering. Yes, you're going to start your layering on top of your existing garden. Now, what you're going to do with your existing garden, and this is very easy, is you are going to scratch up the top layer of your garden. And don't get me wrong, they have beautiful soil right now. They already tilled it, all the weeds are out, but this is going to improve it immensely, 100%. You scratch up that top layer, and then you're going to take and just layer on that heavily decomposed layer of wood chips right on top of that existing soil. And what I would recommend is at least 2 to 3 inches on that first layer on top of your soil. Then once you get that first decomposed layer on top of your garden soil, remember, we're just laying it on top of your tilled garden soil, your conventional garden. Then you're going to take the wood chips that aren't as aged as the decomposed layer, if you scored 2 types of wood chips, and I did, you can see the difference. And you're going to take the less aged wood chips, and you are going to layer that right on top as your final dressing. Now, before I go, I don't want anybody to freak out if they did not score wood chips that are super, super decomposed, almost to the point where they're going to be turning into soil. And they only have something like this. It's aged over a season, but it's not totally broken down. If you just have one pile that you have been aging over a season, don't worry about it. It's ready to go. All you do is just put it on your conventional garden right on top of the soil, just like how we were doing. You don't have to layer in. You don't have to worry about finding a decomposed layer and then trying to find other wood chips that aren't so decomposed. The bottom line is you got wood chips, right? And they've been sitting for at least a season, right? then you put them on your garden. Because if you don't, what's going to happen, and I'm going to show you, this is the proof in the pudding, my friends. I filmed this video 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to pan over here, and I want you to look. Remember the beginning of the video? Look at their garden now. It has been taken over by weeds. I'm telling you, the proof is in the pudding. At the beginning of the season, which was the beginning of this video, that tiller had this garden looking beautiful. The soil was bare, it was weed-free. Look. That's why the proof is in the wood chips. You are going to save yourself so much time and effort. So start looking for some wood chips. And if you live in an area where you are just biting at your nails down to the bone because you can't find any, you know what? If you want to grow your own food, make an investment. Buy yourself a chipper. Buy yourself a chipper. If you really want a homestead and you want the most successful garden method, invest in yourself. Invest in the homestead. All right, be waiting for video 2 on how to plant in the wood chips coming very soon.